What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hometown Advantage, where two hometown guys shine light on small town sports. This is Dominic Masimiano, teacher and head football coach at Rising Sun High School, and joining me as always is my co-host Shane Muller.
What's going on?
Former Rising Sun and Wesley College baseball player. Now listen, this episode is brought to you by Cecil County's own Bird Dog Plumbing. They are expertly trained to handle all plumbing emergencies the same day you call. As a family-owned business with young kids themselves, they understand the importance of keeping your family on schedule. Upon calling, they'll quickly diagnose and solve any plumbing problems you have so you can make your child's practice that evening without worrying about any plumbing issues at home. They are licensed and bonded in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And give them a call today. They are ready to spot your plumbing solution with Bird Dog Precision. Bird Dog.
Bird Dog.
And as always, we think it's awesome you decided to join us. So if you like what you hear, we are gaining some traction. We're very close to 1,000 listens.
Very close to 100 subscribers on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button.
Get that subscribe button. Get the follow button on Spotify. Find us on Instagram or Facebook at hometown_advantage1. And just share us with somebody that hasn't heard us.
Yes, please.
Anybody that
please.
loves sports and loves Cecil County in this area, they're going to want to hear this stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, so today, this is another guest that is not involved in our high school sports, which is great. We love that. To get outside of our high school and kind of, I wouldn't say like sanctioned sports, because all your stuff is sanctioned, but not through the MPSSA.
Yeah.
Our guest is not only involved in our U sports, he coaches the U15 and U13 Cecil soccer teams?
Yeah, 2013 and 2015.
So, I was going to talk about that because Dave explained that to me. He's like, U15. I was like, oh, 15-year-olds, 13 years. He goes, no, that's the 2015 age block and 2000. I didn't know that's how
they switched it.
Yeah, how they called that. But anyway, and having two sons playing in the same sport that you're coaching in the same league, and not only coaching for Cecil Soccer, but also other travel soccer teams as well. And from what I've been told, soccer is this guy's entire life and always has been. And it's our first soccer coach on the show, so we are expanding to another sport. And our guest is Sam Jones.
How's it going, guys?
It's going well. How about you?
Good. Glad to be here.
We are excited to have you on here and talk a little soccer. I know Shane played soccer as well, so
that's what we were talking about before you showed up.
Yeah. Oh, you ruined all the good podcasts.
He's asking all the questions already.
Yeah, we just we've answered all the questions. Good. Well, I can tell you that I'll give Dave a little shout out here because we were talking and I was like, hey man, first guest neither of us know, and I don't do soccer at all, but it's a sport, so got to put it out there.
Hey, it's big, dude. It's big time.
It is big, man.
Yeah. Do you call it football or soccer?
Now I call it soccer.
No,
I'm ashamed to say. Yeah.
Ashamed to say. Our guest is from England. What part of England are you from?
The southwest, a place called Bristol.
Okay. All right. Big Man U fan.
Quite the opposite. Yeah. Liverpool all the way.
In there.
I still had to get it in there somehow. But Dave had great things to say about you, so I'm excited to hear this one. And
Awesome.
He said you are a great coach that is leading our youth in the right direction.
Not for me to say, but I'm glad other people say it. You know what I mean?
We can say that stuff about you. Yeah. And if you want to talk about yourself like that, go for it. Baby.
Oh, I think it. I'm not allowed to say it. Right?
I got you. I got you.
I gotta ask, what's your opinion on Wrexham?
I like it. I think they're doing it the right way. Have you watched the show?
Yeah.
If you watch the show, there's a big difference to a lot of what Man City, for example, where they get bought by a nation state and they're kind of doing things, kind of questionable things with the finances. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough for them. Like, I don't think they're going to make it straight up like the Hollywood story, but they're doing really well. It's a cool story.
I was just curious because I know a lot of people in Europe don't like them because they're like the Hollywood soccer team,
People argue they have an unfair advantage because of the publicity and just the amount of revenue they can make off of those guys. But I mean, it is what it is.
Do it yourself.
Yeah.
Who's it? Rob McElhenney and
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I like
it's a great show. Did you watch Ted Lasso?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's also a great show.
That was legit. That was probably the first show where Americans loved it and English people loved it because they did it right. It wasn't cheesy and it wasn't too real. It was good. That was really good.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Forget who I talked to that said they hated Ted Lasso. Oh, it was Ryan.
Oh my
Shout
God.
out to Ryan. Ryan liked the
doesn't
show,
know anything.
but guess who his favorite character was on the show? It was Roy. Our buddy is just an angry.
He's pretty much just Roy.
He is Roy.
Just like the angry cussing guy. Yeah.
And he just said, I said, who was your least favorite? Ted Lasso. I'm like,
Oh, dude, you
that
got
might
like
be the
Ted.
most unpopular opinion I've ever heard in
You
my
gotta
life.
love Ted.
But okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say it was Coach Beard.
No. As soon as he said, I don't like Ted Lasso, I'm like, well, you probably love Roy, don't you? And he's like, oh, yeah, I love Roy. I'm like, yeah, well, sure you do. Of course.
Yeah, right.
You dark, sadistic mug. All right, so let's get this thing started. I like the banter already. It's good. Banter, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a legit English term. Love
There
it.
we go. I didn't say that on purpose.
Study for this?
I told you I didn't know anything. I know everything. All right, so we always love to hear our guest story, kind of like where you grew up, what sports you played, kind of how you got into it, and then if that led to anything past the level of youth sports. So take us down memory lane.
Yeah, so, I mean, I grew up, honestly, not being that sporty initially in elementary school. I guess late bloomer would be the term.
Sure.
I was desperate to play for the football team, soccer team, and it took a while to kind of get in. Got in, and then just got obsessed with it. High school came, and it is different. So high school is like 10, 11 over there. And so worked really hard on it. And obviously, when puberty hits, that's when I feel youth sports take a jump, right?
Yeah.
People who might have been awesome in elementary school,
Sure.
it depends on how
They
they
might
hit
not
it.
catch up.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So then it was soccer. I played a bit of rugby. I was kind of all sports. I loved tennis, rugby, soccer. Got very into basketball. I actually played basketball and soccer at college. That's not the same prestige that it is here.
Yeah.
Like college sports here is real serious. Like over there, obviously it's a good standard, but it's not like D1. You're going to get drafted.
Okay.
If you're gonna make sports in the UK, you're probably already signed at one of the clubs when you're 15,
Out of
14.
school, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
me doing what I did doesn't. People say, "Oh, you played college." Yeah, it's not.
But you still went to another level, though.
Yeah.
So you still went to the next level. That's good.
Yeah, and that was all fun, and I think I just enjoyed sports and coaching sports. Like,
Yeah.
I started coaching when I was in high school, and then did that for my degree,
Nice.
and then did that for a job as well as high school teaching, which then obviously leads into coaching if you're at a high school.
Right.
And then completely unrelated, ended up here, met my wife, and then when I first came here, while I'm looking for work, I was like, well, okay, I'll do some paid travel soccer coaching.
Yeah.
Then got some it was actually private school coaching. Now I work in landscaping, but I'm glad that with my kids I can do that. This is my passion. Like, I tell everybody, if I could do this for a job, I would just do this for a job.
100%. I would quit my
100%.
job and just get paid to coach. I'd show up to the same school that I quit too. So.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty cool.
I'm surprised that there's not more like full-time jobs coaching soccer, as many teams and leagues and stuff that there are.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, over here, it's a bit of a money grab. So
Okay.
there are jobs. I don't know if you've heard of teams like Coppermine and Pipeline, and there's some very, very big travel soccer organizations that are kind of gobbling up all the small ones, and they do offer some paid positions, but only because they, in my opinion, kind of overcharge. Like over here, it's pay to play, pay to win.
Right.
Yep.
The bigger you go, the better you go, the more they charge, and then they can afford to pay their people, obviously.
Right.
So it's kind of a catch-22, because I'd love to do that, but
Yeah.
I don't kind of agree with that.
Right.
Yeah. We've always talked. We can go on a full episode about that, but
Right.
I mean, it is like you said about the money. I mean,
Well, the difference is, so I was coaching high school in the UK, and out of my 15 players for the 11-a-side team, there was 8 of them on pre-professional contracts with local teams, not between Wrexham and the Premier League. Some of them were Premier
Right.
League, some of them were a couple
Yeah.
divisions down.
Mm-hmm.
But those kids don't pay a ton of money to do that.
Okay.
Those teams want them.
yeah, right.
Whereas here, you want to make it on this team, you could pay $4,000 a year, and you got to drive wherever they say.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a complete difference.
Yep.
I always thought
setup.
that was pretty crazy how soccer had like almost like universities for those teams. Like for example, the Philadelphia Union, right? I have a friend whose kid went to school literally just to play soccer. Like it was the Union school, and he got an education, but like he lived there, and all they did was soccer. Like he had his couple hours of school, and then it was just soccer. You know, it was like a boarding school for
That's what all these pro teams do, and they're very cutthroat. Like when I was growing up, there was a couple of kids in my grade. Well, I mean, one of them made it professional, never to the top, but like he scored against Liverpool in the FA Cup. All this stuff, but you get injured at that wrong time when you're 16, 17. Just a sprained ankle, broken ankle, you're out.
Yeah.
The next one's in, and it's kind of brutal.
I mean, that's pretty much how D1 college recruiting is now. You got your commitment, or it's a verbal commitment, and you get hurt in your senior season. It's a business.
Yeah.
We're moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but it's the same kind of deal we deal with too. That's pretty. It's interesting that you said like going to college over there is not the same as here, and like because I do get it. I mean, like you just the good ones get snagged right away, so that makes sense. We talked about that 14-year-old kid.
In our college, we actually learned about American college, like so you go down and play college sports, and we learn about was it Michigan with like 100,000 seater stadium?
Yeah,
so like,
that's one of the biggest stadiums. Yeah,
it's all televised. There's none of that.
Yeah,
there's none of that. You don't televise in UK college, you know, because what is televised would be probably the U18 Man United games are probably televised. So
wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's also just a real quick side note. It's crazy how young you can sign with soccer teams. Like prefer like a professional contract.
Yeah,
like they're. Baseball, you have to graduate high school. Football, you have to be a junior, right?
Junior in college,
yeah. And where soccer, you could be 14.
You could have snagged a couple of my kids from the football team. Right?
Well, there's questionable ways around it. Like Leo Messi, signed for Barcelona. His family was moved over at 11 from Argentina to Spain. Obviously, he wasn't paid, but like, how did they figure it out?
Great timing. Timing.
Just coincidence, right?
Yeah. It's a little tampering period. There's no tampering period in the Premier League, I guess.
There's a lot of sketchy stuff going on. Like I've get notifications for MLS and some of like the Champions League and the Premier League and stuff, and like every day I get a notification about some coach or something getting in trouble for some money laundering or whatever. There's always a lot of stuff going on over there.
Yeah. Well, Man City's latest one is that they own so many companies that they can basically inflate their own sponsorship. So their own affiliate company sponsors the stadium,
right? And
the charges against them at the moment are that apparently the numbers are different than they should have been. They just made them up, kind of thing.
Perfect.
That's
nothing like owning a company and the companies that sponsor you. Yeah, that's a good life. So you talked a lot about we talked about the college is different, but since you've been involved like in soccer in America, like, and I already know the answer to this question, but like, how does the culture of youth soccer compare to like where your hometown?
Just a lot more serious. Parents are a lot more engaged. Maybe I don't know. Like I even compared it because really I don't have a great recollection of youth soccer growing up. I just played it. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, you don't remember how it worked as a parent. But now comparing it to my buddies, like, my sons have been playing since they were 3, because over here you stick them in something quick and get them in.
Right.
And, I was asking him when his son was like 5, 6, he's, I thought, more soccer mad than me. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's not really feeling it yet. We'll put him in soon, and he started playing when he was like 7 maybe.
Sure.
So my biggest experience is going to be this summer when we go back. I've actually reached out to a couple of teams to see if we can just go to some practices. And I got no idea really how it compares standard-wise. Because what I know mainly is youth soccer over there, we always practiced 1 day a week, game 1 day a week. And they just expect you to play, because kids play every day.
Sure.
We would play on the bus stop. We would play at recess. We would play at lunch, after school. Whereas here, there's so much more to do, or different things. People do 4 different sports
at the same time.
Yeah. So that's the difference. Whereas a lot of people over there, if you're a soccer, you just play soccer. That's all you do. So that's the main difference. Is the parents really, really drive it.
What's the next biggest sport to soccer?
Probably rugby.
Rugby?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah, that
gonna
makes
say.
sense.
Probably rugby, but cricket's big
oh,
too. And American football now might be a thing. I mean, when I was growing up, teams had started, so you could play. Not many. There was only like one locally, but people were loving it. And I know now, due to all the games they do over there, it's much bigger. So I'm sure people are starting to get interested in that.
All right.
So,
Phillies just played in London.
Yeah, we did. Split the series with the Mets there.
Yeah,
We played at the,
baseball coming.
what was that stadium? Oh, the London Stadium.
yeah.
I guess, yeah. They turned that into a pretty good-looking field. Like, it looked like it was meant to be exactly how it was. But, yeah, I guess I had planned that for a while. But, so you talked about, like, the different cultures. And, like you said, you didn't understand, like, what your culture was like when you were a kid playing it.
Yeah.
But like, have you instilled anything that like you took over, with you into the kids that you're coaching now?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean,
like any specific things or anything that you remembered as a kid or things that you did over there?
Yeah. Like some of them are fun, right?
Yeah.
So people over here sometimes seem to. It's not everybody. There's some really great coaches, and obviously in the field I am, there's a lot of volunteer coaches too. So in some ways, I say it's not fair to compare because I grew up playing it, whereas some people have just got into it in the last few years and they just want to help their kid.
Yeah.
But fun has to be first, even if you're taking it serious, because that's the one thing I've noticed with the most successful coaches I come across it's got to be fun, and you got to give them a real understanding to build that passion. If there's a passion behind it, and you can get them to like the sport.
Yeah.
Like the kids on my
just being
team.
thrown out there, like you said, like because they're young and get them into something.
Yeah, well, I had a conversation. It must have been 2012 when I first moved here, coaching, and one of the parents was asking me. Obviously, I didn't have a kid on the team at that point, so they're kind of just straight up asking me, "What can I do?" And I said, "Well, does he come home and kick a ball, or what? Does he just come here? Like what?" She's like, "Oh, we've got a basketball hoop on the drive." I'm like, "Well, that's the thing. Yeah. That's going to be the difference. Right. The kids that are gonna." Your job is to kind of teach them the ropes, teach them what you want to teach them for the game. But I mean, I'm pretty sure in any sport, football or baseball, you're going to go throw pitches or
baseball for sure.
You have to go do that away from practice, right?
Right.
If you just practice at practice, you are not going to be
not
a good player.
Not in today's world. I mean, they're pitching every single day, 3-4 times a week after they're pitching at practice, and I mean, we're seeing a lot of injuries from that. But that's our other conversation.
Yeah. Well, and contrary to like obsessive, crazy things that I might have picked up, like really the key thing I think I do is balance it, right? Yeah. So, for example, with Dave and Luch loves baseball.
Right.
I'm not telling him to pick one.
Yeah. Right.
Dude's 8.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, so, hey, if you enjoy soccer, put everything into this.
Yeah.
But balance it, right? So, because you're going to lose kids. If you obsess over them until they're 10, they're not going to keep playing.
Right. I mean, as long as they show up and, like you're saying, like if they show up to practice and, like, they want to be there in the games, like, give 100% while you're here, right? And then when you're at baseball, give 100% when you're there, and then eventually, probably not at 8, but eventually you'll figure out, okay, I like baseball more than I like soccer, or I like soccer more than I like baseball. And then once you figure that out, then it becomes, okay, I like soccer more. This is all I'm doing all the time. Like, that's when you go to practice, and then you come home and you kick the ball or, whatever it may be. Yeah,
well, and by the time they're 10, like my older team, I like to have a give and take relationship with them. It's not, you must come here and give 100%. If I suck, right? If practice sucks, they're not gonna.
Yeah, right.
Do you know? And that's fair.
Exactly.
If you turn up and you just don't motivate them, you don't inspire, don't get that out of them, they're not gonna do it.
So. Yeah. I mean, I put my practice plan to a T to the minute, and I need them to know that I know what I'm doing, and I want to be there as well.
Will you factor in downtime? How long are they gonna be standing around for 4 minutes while I figure out what I'm doing?
Because you'll lose them quick.
Lost them. Done. And that's my fault. That's not their fault.
Exactly. That's high school kids too.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot have a lot of downtime. It has to be moving from one drill to the next. Unless you're waiting in line to do your turn on the drill, it's got to be quick, man. Get a drink, come back, go, because attention spans go very fast. And obviously with you, even faster.
Oh, yeah.
So that's for sure. Like talking about the culture, going back to the culture, do you think with like the rise of, the union and the MLS and stuff, in your opinion, do you think like we'll ever reach anywhere close to Europe, like the prowess that soccer is?
The MLS?
Or you just like the culture or the love for soccer?
Soccer in the US in general.
America could be an absolute monster.
Right.
You guys do it right. Now that more people are playing, even in the last 10 years, I've just seen, it was just, little kids play. Now, people take it serious. Yeah. There's lots of really good, we had a birthday party a couple of weeks ago, and it was kids from 3, 4, 5 different clubs, different teams. Man, it was really good, really good standard to watch these 8 to 10-year-olds playing.
Right.
And like I said, that's multiple different standards, clubs, teams, and the MLS conversation is a bit different because that's a business, right? They do it very different. You know, salary caps. That's not going to make people want to come here.
Sure.
But yeah, I said to people from 10 years ago, I think give it 20 years, America will be, and they already are better, but they could be serious.
Yeah.
Right.
Once kids stop just dreaming of playing basketball and football.
Sure. Yeah.
When they see, you could go to Europe and make $1 million a week, then they'll do that, right?
Right.
Do you know if Europe is pulling from us? Like, are they? I don't want to say like scouting, but I guess
I think they're starting to.
Yeah.
I think that kid from Man City is a start. He's not the first one. I remember like Freddie Adu when I was little. He never
that's a name drop.
Made it all the way through, right?
Yeah.
But there's always been good kids, like Pulisic or whatever. I mean, where I did my coaching license over here, the guy had some dealings with like that club up there. So there's obviously a huge talent pool, and there are really good kids. Like if you go through the U.S. men's national team, some of those kids are young. Like the captain, I forget his name, but Tyler, whatever, super good player. Like they're really solid. Like I rate them highly.
Yeah,
and there's going to be more of them, but. It's a case of can they bring them through, or are they going to do it? Because there's probably bias against American players for now.
Sure.
It's like, just shout out to Brendan Aronson, who played on the U.S. men's team, but he's from the Union.
Yeah, he's another one. Was at Leeds? Like, what a player.
Yeah, really he's really good. I watched him play at the Union, but I've always heard like some of these guys that sign with the MLS from Europe, like people from Europe, like say that's where like their careers go to die.
Not just people from Europe. Have you ever seen Zlatan Ibrahimovic's interview? I mean, he'll say it to you. He's like, well, hey, I'm 38. How old is this guy? He's 20. Well, 20. What's he playing here then?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's...
He pretty much came in and talked a bunch of shit.
Yeah, he did. But he's really good.
That's the theory. And I think, unfortunately for you guys, Saudi Arabia is now kind of taking over as the retirement place. They got more money.
Yeah.
Taking all the sports.
Yeah, well, but
careful in Saudi, baby.
I just think the fact that it's just the MLS might be one step too different. It's a great business model, same as like the NBA and stuff, but it's just reciprocal, right? Whereas soccer in every other country has jeopardy where you're going to get relegated or promoted.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
And there's no salary cap anywhere else that I can think of. So people are going to not be able to earn. I mean, Wayne Rooney would come here and earn more than the rest of his team combined, which is kind of awkward. But
he's like, I guess they're trying to run it like all our other sports.
Yeah, I mean that's all they're doing. They're running it just like all the other sports.
But that's what's tough, is because you're world champions at American football, right?
Right.
But you're the only country that does it.
Yeah.
And you're world champions at baseball.
Yeah.
But with soccer, you're competing against other. It's the same setup over there, except they're not limited.
Right.
So.
Speaking of the relegations and stuff, Dave was saying even in like your travel tournaments, there's different flights of now. Can you choose to move up, or is it like you lose so much you get bumped down, you win, you move up?
So, you can't. To an extent, you can choose. There's different. I don't know how it is with football. So, you've got the CMSA, which would be the Central Maryland Soccer Association. That's probably the most local one. Then you can go to EDP. Forgot what that means.
That's fine.
But
it's higher.
Yeah, that's a broader spectrum, and they have tiers like 1 through 6.
Okay.
And I could, if I was just starting a team, I'd probably be crazy too, but I could just pick and go EDP 1.
Okay.
I'd get smoked, but you could do that.
Sure. Okay.
Typically, the higher you go, you probably have to go a bit further because it's more competitive.
Yeah. That's your big travel tournaments that you're driving forever on a weekend.
Yeah. But those are the leagues, so those are one game a week, right? And then when you go to the tournaments, you have brackets, and you can pick, but it's like advised, right? So my older boys won their bracket in EDP, so typically my rule is, okay, you win it, you move up.
Sure. Yep.
And I would just do that because you play spring, fall, so just move up. Could double up if we wanted, but I don't necessarily like
shake the confidence real. Yeah, I mean,
well, each year, I try and pull and draft kids in from the rec program and get them in. And so if we're already moving up a division, sometimes if we jump 2 divisions and then you've got kids that are brand new to travel soccer, it just can be a shock to the system. So you got to try and that's the coach's job, I guess.
Right. What's your travel team? What's the travel team called? I guess.
So the one with David, we're called the 2015 Cecil FC Fury.
Okay.
We'll give him a nickname, right? Because technically it is just age groups, right?
Right.
So
Right.
2015 boys, but we go with Fury.
Sure.
And then the 2013 boys are United.
Cool.
Right.
So
EDP
like
is-
Man United.
I was going to say you didn't choose that, did you?
Yeah, actually I did.
starting to think about that one.
Yeah.
Wait a sec.
EDP is Elite Development Program.
There you go.
That sounds high.
Oh, it
sounds
fancy.
hot.
It's
Their
fancy
website
schmancy.
is real fancy. I'll tell you that.
Oh, so it's like it's a whole different organization.
Oh yeah, there's
Okay.
So basically you can enter in the CMSA or you can enter in the EDP for your league
okay.
play. And
Okay.
then like we just did Ocean City Sand Tournament.
I saw that. That looked cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That's different. But then there's a million different tournaments you could choose from.
Sure.
Like someone in Dillsburg runs one. The CMSA do a local one here. We go to Ocean City to River Soccer Club. They run one down there in October. Gettysburg. So and you pick them based on what you like. Some of them have different quirks. Some of them have different awards or different setups of how to play. So it's and it varies obviously because they do. I guess they do it with football, right? Where you work up to full size. Like, so we're 7v7 for the little guys.
Yeah.
We're 9v9 for the older guys, and you work up to 11v11.
We're pretty much, you can get in the football junior program at 7-6, and it's 11-on-11 with pads on, helmets. Yeah, but there is Parks and Rec has a flag league that you can join at like four or 5.
Yeah, I got some of my buddies do that.
But yeah, even like with our high school sports, I mean, obviously the MPSA, like it's all sanctioned and stuff, but that's just by literally school size.
Okay.
So it's like, you have your 4A schools that are just dogs, but like they have huge schools.
Yeah, right.
So like we can never, and I would never want to choose to go up to a 4A or anything like that.
Right.
Where like Texas has the 6, like you're talking about the 6 level. So
yeah, but that's where I'm trying to be smart. You try and like for example, the 2015 boys, their first season was in the fall. They did really well. The C bracket was the entry bracket at CMSA. They absolutely smoked it. So we moved up, and then they had a very tough season. We got like one tie, and the rest they were all by 1 goal or whatever. Losses.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but I think that they were so close to being there that my job is to be like, okay, this is the right
Stay
spot. We're not
there.
going to bump down.
Right.
Be too easy again. So we go again, kind of thing.
That's cool.
And as long as you've got parents buy-in, it's always tough if you've got people on the sideline not agreeing. But
yeah.
I try and be pretty transparent with what we're doing. So.
I mean, yeah, like you said, you don't want to bump them up 2 divisions and then just absolutely shake them.
Right.
And they just get absolutely destroyed.
Right.
And then you also want to move them down and be like, oh, we're the greatest again. Then you go back up and you have 1 tie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, let's battle here until until you win.
Exactly.
Then we'll move up.
Yeah.
The parent thing is every sport.
That's a given.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have...
Yeah, you can't please everybody. But
Yeah.
The EDP, just a quick synopsis, is consists of teams primarily from New Jersey, PA, Delaware, Maryland, and bordering states. Teams are placed by geography and competitive level.
Okay. Yeah.
So you do you have like a East 5 or whatever. So they try and make it not too ignorant.
Is there any big tournaments that ever combine the regions? Or is it just you just stay?
Oh yeah, there's huge tournaments. Like if you go down to some in Florida, like there's an ESPN type one.
Okay.
And,
Oh, wow.
People can enter it, but I heard whispers that there's a couple of clubs that basically go around, and when they do these tournaments, what they'll do is they'll drop invites to like the 3 best players of all these teams, and they'll make a couple of like tournament teams, these crazy, and that's a level.
This is youth sports, man. Come on, like
that's a level above what I like. You know,
yes, I understand that, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
Good Lord, like is that coach like not? Is that coach like not doing anything else? Or,
No,
like,
dude, it's crazy.
It's just ridiculous.
That's
man.
just the coach trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
In youth soccer, like I mean, like you're not going to the Premier League.
Some people get off on that,
I
though.
guess, man.
Well,
I
as
guess.
with anything, there's people that will
I
do
know.
anything to
That's
win.
like the 7-on-7 I was talking about.
Yeah.
People freaking love that. It's not football.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a totally different sport, but man, people get into it. And yeah, some coaches at that 4 to 5 level, like from what I've heard, is like fighting with refs.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The refs are the kids that work Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
They're high school kids.
Yeah, getting
Volunteering.
screamed at.
Volunteer. They get told what they're doing. I'm sure we're looking at the schedule like, oh, I'm a ref this week. Here we go. Here we go.
Well, there's a ref shortage probably, and your sport is
Yes,
always a ref
100%.
shortage in soccer because they just get abused off the field.
Sure.
So, it's
I
like-
mean, basketball, we got lucky, but obviously basketball is right on top of the refs, and we had a ref shortage last year, 2 seasons ago, and football, there's always a ref shortage,
Yeah.
and they got to work both games and probably multiple games a week in different states. So, I mean, yeah.
I think I've mentioned this before. I ref soccer 2 games one summer, and that was it. I was done. 2
Well,
games.
because you have to do it yourself. Like, I mean, luckily at the EDP level, they do try or they're supposed to send 3, right? So you
Okay,
got a
yeah.
linesman on one side, linesman on the other side, and a middle ref. A lot of the games, you just get a middle ref, and dude, sometimes they just get eaten up by the parents.
Just getting spun around in circles all the time, man.
Hope you're in
shape.
I wouldn't do it, and like I said, I ref in practice, and you know the kids will yell at me for a bad
Sure,
call, and I'm
of
like,
course.
listen, just ignore it. You can't do that. You can't argue.
Yeah.
Just get used to bad calls. Like it might happen.
I ref in high school, and I'm literally the worst person in the world after a game's over. This freaking ref so, and I'm like, dude, what do you want me to do, man? Like, you think I have a bias for one half the class?
Yeah.
I do, but I'm not gonna go out
At
there.
least in soccer, I'd just be out there just flashing yellows all game. Everybody
I'm on
gets
the
one.
bench. Parent, you're out. Red card. Can you red card a parent? Get him out of there.
That's what they're doing now. Is their cards come to me. Like so, if a parent gets a yellow card, they're going to yellow card the coach. And it's our job to control the parents because
I mean, yeah. It's kind of the same
Makes sense.
thing. Same thing. If we get two personal fouls on our sideline, I'm booted from the game.
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's tough though because from the ref, you know, I've had it before where it's parents, it's like whack a mole. You shut one up, and but then what's the incentive? They'll just tell them a fake name and walk off. There's no.
Yeah, I'll be back next week. You'll hear me again.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, like, and you kind of talked about this, and this kind of goes into just kind of the passion of everything we were just talking about. But like, so growing up, like, as diehard soccer as you were and still are, like, and you kind of already hit on this question, but like, are you maybe differing the intensity to the ones that you kind of see that are already like just so into it, or are you still just kind of that balance for everybody because you still don't know?
Yeah, I do try and differentiate because I mean, you teach, right?
Yeah.
So you understand.
We
you know,
talk about
you-
differentiate all the time.
Yeah, you have to. There's
Yeah.
certain things that certain people can and can't do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty brutal. Like we just went through tryouts, right? So it's you have tryouts every year, and there's unfortunately people that don't make it. But then it's really exciting to get new kids that are enthusiastic. But I try and have like a baseline that is the same, right? But I've got certain kids that I can go to where I know, kid 1 watches a ton of soccer. He's analyzing it with his dad.
Sure.
He won't shut up about it. But then I got other kids, like my son, will pay an interest and then not watch the rest of the game. You know what I mean? Like, so you've got kids that dip in, dip out, but he'll go out and shoot, and you get people commenting around the neighborhood where they're on their morning run. He's like, man, he's out before school. And it's like, yeah, he'll go shoot, but he won't watch a game.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And there's professionals that will say the same thing. Like there's this guy, Ben White for Arsenal. He hates soccer. He only does it because it's a really good job and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
He doesn't watch it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like it aside from it's his job, right?
Right.
And I think some of the kids are a bit like that. They're just athletic and they do like it
That's
enough.
every sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you've got kids that have got a real passion for it.
Right.
And, the amount of people come out, especially with stuff like Messi going to Miami.
Sure.
I think every kid on my team has a Miami jersey.
It's funny you say that because like when I played baseball, like I was decent for around here, but I'd never watched baseball.
No.
Like, my dad was a diehard Orioles fan, like, watched baseball all the time. And, like, yeah, I would watch a game here and there with him and stuff, but, like, I wouldn't go out of my way to sit down and watch a game. But now that I'm done playing baseball, I watch a ton of baseball.
Yeah, well, even me, my wife will give me a hard time. Like, I watch any soccer game, like all soccer games.
Yeah.
There's almost one on every day. Like, if I can, there's something.
If you got Hulu, there's
Oh, dude.
a game on every single
Saturday.
hour, second
Well,
of the day.
you could watch like the Argentinian league, just soccer everywhere, anytime. But when I was growing up, I mean, cable was expensive. It wasn't something we had.
Yeah.
And in England, they've still got funny rules on that. Like, they don't broadcast even the local games. You can't get them if you don't have cable.
They want everybody to go to the stadium.
Well, you have a show. It's called Match of the Day. Shout
okay.
out Match of the Day. But
There
it's
you go.
like Red Zone
you're
or
watching.
whatever. Yeah. Where it's like just an hour
Ooh, a
summary
little
of the
soccer
games.
red zone? Nice.
Yeah, but it's been going on. It's like,
That's cool.
I don't know, been going on since the 50s or 60s. It's
Wow.
like, it's a huge tradition on the BBC because it's
cool.
like the free channels.
Right.
That was what we would all go in on the weekend, on Monday, talking about,
Did you see this one?
oh, on Saturday.
Like ESPN, it's like
Well,
Sports
and
Center.
You'd see a goal, like the top 10 plays,
Yeah.
right? You'd see a goal and everyone would be going to try and score that goal. And that was like the hype. And I try with the kids now, like what I do is that sometimes if I set a homework, I don't set homework that's going to be boring. I'll set homework that's like, hey, you play this position, go and look up a YouTube video
Yeah.
of this guy.
Yeah.
Or we were going to do the beach room. Hey, look up Brazilian sand soccer and go and see
Sure.
what you can find. Like, because that's what kids do. Kids are on YouTube all day.
Yeah.
So, try
Me
and
too.
find something useful.
I love YouTube. You can go down a rabbit hole quick.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like such a good point that you talk about because it's every sport because literally I think it's say it every year like that kid's really good at football, but he doesn't watch any football.
Right.
Like I think it's different with football than probably baseball or soccer. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, but like there's so many little intricate details to a step, to a block, and if you go watch like a great college program and the NFL is, sometimes you kind of can't compare yourself to that, but like the college program where that play is kind of similar to me. I'm going to watch that, how I do that versus they do it. And like we have kids all the time. And then you'll have a kid I had kid Mason Testament last year, like my senior, he was literally just a coach on the field. Really good at football and also understood the ins and outs of every single thing we were doing and also could offer feedback. So you got to have a little bit of both because you don't want people to just get burnt out because all I do is that sport and watch that sport every single day.
Right, but I think it's important as they develop. Like, like at 8, I don't care. I mean,
right.
My son at 8, I was surprised when the World Cup was on. Like, I mean, he knew all the players. That was actually very impressive. I was like, man, and he got really into it and wanted to watch it. But I don't expect that, But as they get older, I said, guys, you should be watching it.
A little
like,
bit, yeah.
If I'm trying to encourage, like one thing, and it's to do, the development comes from, it's not just physical and how they play, it's also mental, right?
Yeah.
So I got kids at the 2015 team still haven't really mentally developed what the aspect of a team is.
Yeah.
They're head down, they're going to try and dribble, same as they did when they were 4. But as they get older, they're going to develop out of that. But watching sport helps because when you see those professionals, those idols, and you're like, oh, they're passing the ball around. You're like, I should pass the ball
from a different
around.
angle, too. You kind of see it. You're seeing the field more,
Or you say going up to watch the Union. You go and watch it in person, is very different even than watching it on TV.
Yeah.
It's very different. So, I do encourage that. You just can't make them too young.
Well, yeah. I mean, at 8 years old, you better be watching the sport every waking second of your life because then you're missing your Disney shows and your Nickelodeon shows and all that stuff. But like you said, as you get into that high school and that area where it's like, this is now my passion. This is where I'm going to try to advance myself. And when you get to college, like you're going to need to know those little ins and outs that you haven't picked up on.
Right.
So,
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. But I mean, let's take a little second to shout out. We'll shout out Dave here. Sorry, I got to listen about Dave's company here. But one of our sponsors is Design Concepts, your hometown hardscaping professionals. Are you missing out on that genuine quality time spent with your friends and family in your own backyard because you don't have your ideal area? Or is it a simple open space on your property that could use a professional touch? If any of that sounds familiar to you, be sure to reach out to your local design and build professionals at Design Concepts. Their team will create the outdoor oasis of your dreams. They have over 23 years of expert experience in the hardscaping industry. Whether you need a paver patio, a retaining wall, outdoor kitchen, fireplace, pool deck, the list goes on. Their main focus is to fulfill their clients' expectations by bringing joy and satisfaction from their projects that can last a lifetime. Reach out to Dave at 410-920-5355 or find them on Facebook at Design Concepts and contact them via email at designconceptsmd@gmail.com.
Give him a call.
Give them a call. Give them a look up on Facebook.
Shout out Dave.
Send him an email. Yeah, shout out Dave. Dave, how's coaching with Dave? He's a character, huh?
No, yeah, Dave's awesome. He's super helpful. He's always
Just
there.
talking about Dave. I just had to ask that. He's a nut. Talking about passion. He's probably a passionate coach as well.
He's very passionate. He's always there when you need him, and I can't believe how they managed to spread it with baseball. You know what I mean? Baseball's a
They do a lot.
big commitment.
Between Luch and Avery, they are on the move 24/7.
Yep.
Yeah. Avery is, shout out to Avery. She was top tier player for the high school.
Yeah. She's only a sophomore too, so we'll see. Is she still doing travel too, or
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah. I think she's still playing Cecil. I'm not certain.
about the travel club? Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
I just wanted to mention it, talking about like kids watching the YouTube and certain players and stuff like that. When we were in high school, like YouTube wasn't that big yet, but I specifically remember I was buddies with a friend that played on the soccer team, and it was right around, I can't remember I think it was Ronaldo had like a cleat commercial come out on YouTube, and he was just hitting them off the top post.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that.
Ronaldinho, I remember.
Okay, it was Ronaldinho, yeah. And I remember like we would sit around the computer and watch that, and then every day at high school soccer practice, that's all we would try and do is just constantly hit that top post.
Well, it's kind of the same as the NFL had a really cool one, the fantasy football. Did you ever see that?
Oh, the one where they're like breaking their hands to the wall.
Yeah. And everyone's thinking it'd be real. Like there's a guy who like puts it out of the machine, it fires it up, and he runs the whole length of the field.
Yeah.
Like they soccer made some cool ones like that too.
Cool.
And it just it gets kids going.
Well, I mean, like with all like I anytime I see a soccer ball, I want to try to do something cool with it. Just watching everybody else do it, but I can't do anything with a soccer ball.
I mean, you play a lot of FIFA. You got pretty good at
my
FIFA.
soccer now. I was very good at FIFA. We're about to get back into that too. That's where my soccer knowledge comes from is FIFA. We went hard in college playing FIFA.
It's actually a decent way to learn the game. Like if you're playing and you play like we used to play tournaments where you'd have to pick a random team.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
And you get to know like random teams, random players, all that stuff. So it does actually, and the kids playing it, I do actually have quite a few kids that play FIFA with each other, and they don't realize that they're picking up some of the different positional stuff or formations
100%.
and stuff like that. So they there is a learning. It's not necessarily the best.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But it does count.
Understand a little bit of spacing, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was about to say. Like just the passing aspect alone of
A
watching
through
it
ball.
on TV
play
or
the ball
playing
in
it.
front for someone to
Right.
run on. Offsides, what offsides is, they'll pick it up from that. Maybe better than a coach explains it. Definitely better. I've heard some moms try and explain it. Definitely better than the moms. No offense, moms. But,
Hey Whitney, what is offsides? Explain to me offsides.
Oh man! And then I'm assuming you probably don't corner pass or what would that be called? Center ball, everything. I don't know. That's all you were doing. That's all you did in old school FIFA was take it to the corner,
cross it in.
cross. Jeez Louise.
It's really tough because the rules, and I don't know if this is something I'll find out this summer. I don't know if this is just in America because growing up, I played 11v11 with 3 substitutions allowed all game. That's the traditional way, which they've actually changed more recently. I think it's 5 now in the professional game. But then people learn from, like at Spain from 2008 to 2012, it's all about small-sided stuff, development. And I think US soccer has been bringing that stuff in. So we start at 7v7, then go 9v9, but there's no heading. You're not allowed to head the ball as kids until I think it's next year. So it's like U12, like so you're 11, 12 years old. And there's got to be some kind of concussion protocol research with that, whatever. But I'm not sure if that's the same here and in England or if that's just an American thing. But that does make it tough.
Yeah.
Because you imagine you've got a corner kick, and typically you cross that ball in, and I'm used to
bicycle everything.
Yeah, we're throwing. Yeah, but that's even more dangerous. You're flying karate kicks at each other, and they can't head the ball. So it's kind of crazy.
That's a great point to the concussions.
Yeah,
Is CTE a big thing in
I'm
in
sure
Premier
it
League?
is.
Because anytime a ball comes up and I give it, I'm like, good Lord, I don't know how people do that on a regular basis.
Well,
man.
they've only just brought in. There is a concussion protocol that they brought in maybe 2 years ago, and they're now allowed like a in rugby, they've always had like a blood sub, right? So if someone's bleeding, you can get you free trade, you get to get them out and stitch them up. Whereas now they've got a concussion one in soccer. So if someone, if the independent physios deem they need to come off, you get a free change. Because people will complain, like, I'm not going to take him off because I'm going to lose an advantage.
Sure.
So
are you saying in the U.S. now for the kids they don't allow heading?
Correct.
Okay.
Until I think it's 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure because I haven't had kids in UK soccer. I maybe it's the same over there, but I will find that out this summer.
That's changed from when I was a kid because we were heading all day.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm telling you what, a ball come up and you're like try to do something cool with it. I'm like, God damn.
Well, I think it's even the fact.
It's got to be some kind of technique to it.
There is, but I think it's more the 50-50 duel, right? Like, if you're fearless, right? I used to play center back, so your job is to come out and just charge through people, jump up and smash that. But then other people are trying to do that too.
Yeah.
So the head-to-head is probably the biggest thing. And if you've got kids going head-to-head 10 times a game, you're going to end up with injuries.
Yeah, especially off a corner. You got the keeper coming out, keep punching the ball. I knocked a kid out in high school because I played keeper and I missed the ball and full on clocked.
It's an aggressive play.
It gets hot, man.
That's actually worse than like a goal line play where everyone's just slamming in like 1 yard. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start playing soccer.
It's fun.
Let's go. Maybe start banging
it is
around
good
a little
fun.
bit.
Even
it is, man.
If you're getting like, I could give you a shout when we're doing. We're supposed to do coaches pickup. Like just anyone who's a volunteer coach.
Heck yeah.
Come down, do a dog pickup. That's just a ton of fun because you've got all age ranges and.
Did you play with us when Pete organized that stuff at Calvert?
No,
you played on the blacktop over there. That was a blast, man.
Yeah, dude, it's good fun. It is.
I wanted to play pickup so bad when I moved back here from Delaware, and I was trying to find a pickup league, and I just could not find any. And I think I may have texted you that year I moved back, like trying to get like a pickup league together, like Tuesday nights or something.
Yeah, we don't have enough friends that can run that long. No. I can't run that long, but
Zach's back now, so maybe we will get it.
Well, but if you get enough people, you just sub on, sub off. I can't run. I'm like, here, this is my 4x4. Okay, if anyone comes in here, I got you.
And defender next to you, we good? Like we on the same page, just like basketball. We running back for that play? No, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down to play. Let's go, man.
That'd be tight.
Let's get the hometown advantage crew in there. Show my skills. Tear another ACL out there probably, but we'll make it work. So, like, my transitions are terrible. Just right from the bull crap to a question.
Just get all serious. So
anyway, bring it back in. Talking travel soccer scene, like in Cecil, like compared to the people you guys see in the tournaments or like your league play, like are we like far behind? Are we pretty close in regards to skill level? Or?
Cecil area, that is.
Yeah.
It totally depends on the team.
Yeah.
We've got. I think the toughest thing is numbers. Right. The way my philosophy has always been, and this goes for Cecil soccer, right? The wider the bottom of the pyramid, the higher the top. Right, you got more participants, you got a better top end, right? We basically, this is the first year where we've had multiple teams at least for a long time, where there's a couple of age groups where there's two teams in that age group.
Nice.
That makes it more competitive. That gets more people involved. And the biggest thing we come up against is if you're playing, like I said, some of these other, like Baltimore Bays, they're based down in Baltimore County. A lot of Harford County teams will have 2, 3, 4 teams in an age group.
Yeah. So
we're always competitive in the brackets we're in. Some of our teams, do very, very well in top brackets, but that's more of a if and when. Like the best thing we could do would be get more people playing.
Yeah, right.
And I think part of that is people don't necessarily know, and this was what we found getting more involved in the board at Cecil Soccer, is that people just didn't really know.
Yeah,
right. So we've had players. I've been talking to Delaware players, Delaware FC, some of the big clubs up there. At tournaments, and they just didn't even know they could have done travel at Cecil. They live in Chesapeake City, like 5 minutes from Chesapeake.
Right.
So
do a little recruit your own. I like it. I mean, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No.
Didn't hear that.
But it's that's my thing. What we're trying to do is it's a volunteer run thing. A lot of these other clubs have the ability to pay people and. So we're trying. This year we had a big push, and we got a lot of the younger teams signed up. Right. So CMSA this year would be the first year they open up a division for 2017 birth year, right? Which makes you feel nice and old. But then we've got 2017 teams made.
Yeah.
Whereas typically with Cecil, we were a year behind.
Right.
So those people that were dead keen for their kids to play that first year that it's open would have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
That should catch us up
Yeah.
a little bit. I think it's about getting bums in seats. Essentially, if you get a team, you're going
Right.
to get more people to come and stick. Whether
Right.
they start off at the very first time, you get some kids. I had a big influx of people for the 2013 boys. We've been a team for this will be our 4th year.
Nice.
But there was a big influx this year of people being like, I think we're ready to try travel now. So some families don't want to commit until they're 10. And so just with less numbers up here, I would say that makes it harder. But there's actually a really solid group of coaches. It's a great facility. It's way better than, I'm going to say, just about anywhere else I've been. As far as grass fields go.
Yeah.
Because everywhere else, a lot of other places, these copper mines and pipelines, these expensive clubs have all
Right.
got year-round turf.
Sure.
Right.
But their fields, they play on school fields, and school fields suck.
Yes, they do.
So, and they're public, they get torn up by other people, and you guys come and with your downs and you scratch them up, and they're horrible to play on. but Chesland up there is a nice little oasis. It's very
Yeah.
good.
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
So Calvert gets torn up because there's a lacrosse tournament there
Right.
every single weekend.
Yeah.
There's 19 million people there.
Yeah.
Those fields are rough.
Cheslin was huge. That was a huge move for them because before that it was at Meadow Park, which is in Elkton.
Talk about
And-
Is that the YMCA one? Next to the
That's just
YMCA?
Elkton. That's just like town of Elkton. That's where the Elkton junior football team
Oh, okay.
practices down there.
Yeah.
Just floods every time it rains
Yeah.
an inch.
But I mean, for the longest time, that's where Cecil soccer was. Like when I grew
Yeah.
up playing soccer, that's where we played because it was a huge area and multiple fields.
Yeah.
And but it was just always in awful shape.
Muddy
like
and-
he said, like
Yeah.
if we got any kind of decent rain, it would just flood out completely. And like they didn't take care of the fields and stuff. But then once they moved to Cheslin, it's been incredible.
Yeah, Cheslin's a big draw. Like when we get every game, every home game, I get compliments. But man, these yours? I'm like, yeah. But like we have to maintain them ourselves.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's worth it. Right?
Yeah,
it's worth
Absolutely.
Yeah, talk about Meadow Park. Yeah, that's why I probably stopped playing soccer. My mom said I was a goalkeeper and I didn't dive because it was too muddy. I don't know how I ended up playing football after that. But no, I'm good.
Yeah.
My jersey's clean.
It was
Yeah.
rough.
That was a Socceroos year. That's like
That's not like U4, U6. Like, that's nice
that was the
and
last time I played soccer. And baseball. I got out of all those other sports real quick. And you just hit on this too about the county or the Cecil coaches not getting paid and other counties are. Do you think and you kind of just hit on it, but how much of an impact does that have on the level of play being different versus getting paid?
It can. I mean, I honestly think the fact that people here do it for
Yeah.
passion and they're dedicated probably helps.
Yeah.
And for example, I tell sometimes if I'm feeling a bit arrogant, I tell people on my team that they're very lucky that it's good to have a dad coach.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dude, it's all I eat, sleep, talk about it. So my wife tells me to shut up, or sometimes I tell her to shut up. Or it's a crazy obsession
Yeah.
because it's a family thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
She's my team manager for both teams.
Nice.
I coach both, so I'm like, hey, I do happen to know soccer. I do happen to have done a coaching degree and got my coaching badges, but also this is my kids' team.
Yeah.
So I'm about as dedicated as it's going to be
Sure.
for
Right.
free.
For
Right,
money,
right.
Yeah.
The biggest issue, and I don't know, like I said, who listens to this or not, but I don't know why Cecil Parks and Rec and Cecil FC or Cecil Soccer have not always been working together
Sure.
to try
Right.
and just make Cecil County soccer better. Whether that's relationships, whether that's conflict of interest,
Yeah.
that would be huge because
Right.
Talk about
Cecil
a draw of players. Yeah.
Cecil
You
Soccer
combine-
could
yeah.
help Parks and Rec, and Parks and Rec could help Cecil,
Yeah.
and it could just make everything better. But there seems to be a big well, we do our thing and you do your thing, and
Yeah.
we'd love to work on that
Yeah.
over time because that would be the biggest one. I'm not too worried about getting paid. We are able. It's a non-profit,
Right.
so there is money.
Yeah.
So if someone volunteers to do a coaching certification, you can reimburse them for that.
Okay.
We can provide the balls or the equipment, stuff like that. We can fundraise, you know. So if we do tournaments, we can fundraise and divide that up with the club, as long as it gets spent on the club and not anything, whatever the
no
profit.
money laundering in Cecil soccer.
No, not at all. Clean as
in your pocket. That's good. That's
clean
good.
as a whistle. Yeah. Well, and it's expensive. People think, you know, we did the indoor league. And because Cecil Soccer, because they're not part of Parks and Rec, has to pay for the facilities the same as anyone else. It costs like 40 grand.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, because we have to pay for the facility for the weeks. And like, oh, well, you know, people are like, oh, I have to pay $100. I have to pay $100 for my registration. Like, well, yeah, we have to pay 40 grand for the facility. So it's just
that's an insane number.
well, it's just one of those things
Yeah.
that's like real life. You know, it seems expensive on an individual level, person to person.
Yeah.
But we're actually very focused on the fact that there's a diverse range here of what do you call it, socioeconomic
Yeah.
levels, right? So we got to try and keep it affordable, but there's also a cost to it. So it's trying to not make profit and just run it a fine line is you know, it's tricky, and it's all volunteer based. So put a shout out there for anyone who's listening who wants to volunteer for Cecil Soccer. We're always looking.
How can they get in contact with you?
info@cecilsoccer.org.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're always looking for, because we get 1 million people with suggestions.
Yeah.
And 0 people who want to come do those. So we'd love some people to come do
Everybody's
them.
got something to say, but doesn't. But like, once again, maybe doesn't want to commit their time for free.
Well, no, and even if they just came down and met the people that help, there's 4, 5, maybe 6 of us that meet sort of weekly that are super into it. And there's, you know, a bigger group that obviously dedicate a lot of time. Like, I got a parent on my team who's shout out to Sean Durgan. He's up at the fields. I mean, I don't know how many hours he spends up there. Just you know,
That's cool.
And the more people we get, the less people like that would have to do.
Right.
So it would be cool, you know.
Right.
I don't know how to get the Parks and Rec and Cecil Soccer to work together. I don't even know where to even begin with that.
No, I
mean,
think it's
they're
gonna have
already
to be.
making so much money doing their own thing.
The Parks and Rec, you mean?
Parks and Rec, man. I mean, they got so many programs. It's like
Right.
Well, they've got that government money.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
right.
funds, there's stuff, and you know, it would be nice if we could come up with initiatives like to maybe improve. Like, we would love to send coaches and help middle school sports or whatever, you know. And I mean, I'm a volunteer. I would do things, like whatever I can fit in around making enough money to live. I'd do things to try and just. I mean, it'd be better to have more soccer players in Cecil Soccer. That, from my perspective.
Yeah, even if it was like you were able to, like, I wonder if you guys do any like you know, 1-day camps?
Not at the moment. We do have, but I guess they're not technically Cecil Soccer. There are some. They are graduates through Cecil Soccer, and they play college ball now, who are wanting to do things like that. But you know, unfortunately, the problem with everybody, I'm going to say everybody at Cecil Soccer, is that we all have day jobs.
Yeah, right.
And if we could afford, like, I would. I mean, that's what I did my degree for. I love nothing more than to do that, but there's just have to work.
Is there any social media presence for Cecil Soccer?
Yeah, to an extent. We're on Facebook. There's Facebook groups. Most teams also have a Facebook group. So if you're listening and you're a kid, or you know someone of a certain birth year, because like I said, they switched it from birth year to school year. From school year to birth year. You can always look them up. You know, like 2015 Cecil Boys Fury. We're on there. We put our tournaments on there. We did a Fury Friday where I don't know if you've seen it or not, but you should look it up, because Luch got one. So every player had a profile on a Friday, a nice little slideshow, some pictures, and you know, their favorite, just cool stuff that the kids get a kick out of, but also it kind of publicizes the team and stuff like that.
How good is Luch? Because a dude from like 4 years old looked like he was going to be a stud at every single.
Oh, he's a killer athlete. And I will say, this is the one thing with
you can
kids
talk crap on him.
that play multiple sports. That's the only drawback. But I mean, he's a 2016 playing up on a 2015 team, so that says something. He's doing good, right? They're playing not at the lowest standard of 2015. So yeah.
That's cool.
I'm expecting big things from him and the whole team this year. We're gonna get some dubs on the board.
Let's go.
That spring was tough on me.
When does your fall season start?
We'll do a few things. So we've got some more sand tournaments in New Jersey at the end of the month. Then we kind of take a break, but we'll do periodic kind of practices and keep in touch. Usually start pre-season in August, but I'm going to England for 2 weeks, so we're going to work what we can, and then September is really kickoff. Like that's when the league season starts, and that kind of goes all the way through to November. But then it doesn't stop because we'll do some form of indoor.
Yeah.
And that gets tough because I do encourage kids, like I said, basketball's that time of year. Like, hey, go do basketball.
Yeah,
right.
Make what you can make for me. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I just want to bring it back to the social media presence thing real quick. Do you guys do any kind of like email blasts? The only reason I ask is because like I know for a fact, because I get them every day, the Parks and Rec are constantly sending out emails for the different leagues and programs. And
we do, and I'm pretty sure as long as you've ever signed up for like Cecil Rec Soccer, you will get them.
Okay.
But only, I don't think we do it. We don't buy mailing lists or anything like that. We only do it to people that have. If you signed up 5 years ago and you don't sign up anymore, you'll still get them unless you opt out.
Right.
And we do those. Like there was some because full rec sign up is open, so you can already sign up for that. You can volunteer to be a coach. You can sign your kids up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the blasts go out to just people who have registered in the past.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just looking at Luch's Fury Friday here. It's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, it is cool. We're all got all the merch. We got everything going. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
And you guys are like, and I just saw like the the prison.
Yeah,
thing
we did a Halloween fancy dress tournament. The boys got a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's pretty
nice.
cool. I mean, that's pretty fun. Yeah, I mean,
that's all stuff you're probably doing that I would imagine the Parks and Rec is not doing.
No, I mean, because the Parks and Rec, I believe, don't have teams like that. Like they'll run the middle school, which is great, and they do. I think they do like a 4th and 5th grade type thing, which is like they just get together. They have like 5 practices, then they do a mini tournament. It's kind of, I mean, it's really good. I don't believe in snobbery. Like I coached a random rec team for indoor, just because we were short a coach. Yeah. And I really like rec is like a super wholesome, people just play because they want to play. Yeah. Like it's super cool, right. But it is a lower level of soccer, right? So if you're at that 4th and 5th grade where it's just, each school's probably got 2 or 3 soccer players. Yeah. It's not the best, and that's where I'm saying they could, we could help each other out. Like it would be kind of cool to work hand in hand and obviously share some of that cheddar. But I mean,
if you're listening, you now know where to find them.
Yeah, but I guess it's been an ongoing thing, and there's probably reasons behind it. But
they've just been doing things for so long. Yeah. How long has Cecil Soccer been around?
Oh, I should know that because
it's okay. Sorry to put you on.
It's like 45. They've been celebrating it. I think it's 45 years.
Nice. I played Cecil Soccer when I was a kid.
It's on the banners and stuff, and I've got dads on my team,
nice.
Who are like, oh hey, I was here. I played in like 1983. So it is cool. It's got heritage. It's been around, and it's always been volunteer run and non-profit. So it's a super wholesome kind of thing, and it's nice to have, kids parents who played and then now their kids are playing. You've got some people who are like getting to the next level where I think grandkids are going to be playing. So it's cool.
That's pretty cool.
You guys also got sweet uniforms now. When I played, it was a weird silky mesh.
Oh yeah,
reversible. It was like one was red, one was yellow. Yeah,
that's what mine was too.
I've seen those. Yeah,
what team are we today? Yellow. Okay,
flip it over.
Yeah, we got to keep up. Got to keep up.
And the fact that you're the FC, that's pretty awesome too.
Yeah, well, that's been a bit of a rebrand. There's been a bit of rebranding to try and sharpen up. I don't know if you saw, we had some billboards this year. We're just trying out different things to try and just publicize, try and just grab those extra few people. And
absolutely.
We're also not just trying to do that, but we are trying to make the product a bit better. We're aware it's volunteer run.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, you see soccer is really unorganized. It's 5 of us in a spreadsheet. Like we're doing everything we can to make those processes better, and there's been some improvements made that people have commented on that are hopefully going in the right direction. So it's kind of cool.
And with your passion too, you wouldn't have it any other way. I'm assuming just like you couldn't sit there and watch a bad product.
Because I don't want to be involved.
Right, you don't want to be involved in that either. You don't want your name behind that.
Well, and the same for like my wife is not a soccer lady. She's never watched soccer until I met her. And now she's very unfortunate. She's watched a lot of it, but she is like all or nothing, right? You're in it. Yeah. Both our kids are in it. We're going to try and make it as good as we can for our kids, and by product that means everybody else's kids, and the same for the other people involved who put in at least as much time as us, if not more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people have more flexibility and they give even more time, and those people are incredible, really.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Did you call them uniforms?
Or sorry, kits.
Because they're kids, dude.
Yeah, my bad. Well, somebody said tied, and it's a draw.
Uncultured. I'm going to say tie. You got to win those
Mr.
kits.
Center Pass.
I know kits and pitch. I know that. I'll go play some FIFA tonight, all right? Brush up. I should have
What's
played
the
last
correct
night.
term for cleats then?
Don't
I know
tell
this one.
me.
Come on, man. This one's easy.
It's easy.
It's pretty easy.
It's not shoes, right? What is it?
Boots.
Boots! Dang it.
Come on, man.
I was close with shoes. Just
Soccer shoes. I mean, yeah, people would know what you mean.
put my shoes on. All right. I don't know anything. This is why we have these guests on here, so I can learn.
Absolutely.
Let's go, man. I got some other sports I need to learn about, too. We need to get these guys on here.
I was just telling Whitney the other day, I was like, I've learned more about basketball and since we've started this than I ever cared to know.
Yeah, true.
Well, I
You
do
know
want
what
to
I
say
mean?
though, I love basketball, and there was a while there, sort of probably towards the end of college, I actually much preferred basketball.
Okay.
I just over there, I guess it was like overseas. When I got here, I was like still into basketball, and I'm watching it, but then I can't keep up with the trades, and they play like every single day.
Right.
And I was like, I can't do this.
So you want
it's
to
a little
talk
overwhelming.
about travel? I don't think there's a fall and spring. It's just 365.
Yeah.
There's tournaments every single weekend.
Yeah.
AAU doesn't stop.
It's a cool sport, but I just watch highlights now. I can't be doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
NBA highlights are just not really basketball. So, but they're fun to watch.
I'm just an and one mixtape guy. That's what I grew up on. I love those.
That's highlights right there. The professor. Let's go. All right, so we'll wrap it up with our last question here, and this is our weekly question of the episode, and then
This is tough because he's getting put on the spot because he didn't get a chance to look at these.
yeah,
whereas
true.
everybody else
So
did.
yeah, but we always
It's all
ask
good. It's
all
all
of our
good.
coaches that obviously clearly have passion for the game. Like, what does competition just by itself mean to you? It's the first thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes to mind is just give it everything you got, right? And to me, the toughest thing with teams like just starting out,
Yeah.
if I can just be super specific, giving everything you got as a team is all you can do, right?
Right.
Because you've got, or I have a limited arsenal, right? So I've got 13 players. Are they all of the same standard? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? Strengths and weaknesses, dips and curves. But as long as you can walk away from that game as a coach and hopefully all your players, that's the only frustration I ever have is when the players, when I know they're walking away and they didn't give it everything that day. Right? Typically, I do. Right,
Yeah.
but some days I get it wrong. There's days where I maybe messed up the rotation, put someone in the wrong situation, stuff like that. But no, competition has to be everything you can do that day has to be done.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Right, and caveat to that is I'm working on this with the boys is no excuses.
Yeah, I like that.
No excuses.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And that's tough to do with younger kids, but
Yeah.
if you can build that now,
Well, I'm just
crap,
trying to
thank
say,
you.
like with the rep, like, hey, no, it's not the ref's
Yes,
fault.
yes.
Right.
And between you and me, there's been a couple games.
Sure.
I say to them, no, the ref, you can outplay the ref.
Yeah, right.
I've seen games where the ref has made two calls specifically that just completely
Shifted the whole.
undid every. Well, it was in the last 2 minutes, and it just boom. You go, okay.
All right.
My conversation with my wife quietly is, there's nothing we could have done.
Yeah,
there. But
yeah.
to the boys, no
course,
excuses.
of course.
I don't want to hear that. Go again next week. That's all it is.
And as a coach at the next level, I thank you, and a lot of other coaches will as well,
Yeah.
because you're gonna. I coached at college, and it's excuses out the
Yeah.
wazoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'd rather have a full-on argument and sit a player down
Sure.
and have them miss their next rotation. Because even with travel, I try and get as many people as many minutes as I can. We're getting to the point now where I let people know that it's not going to be wreck. It's not going to be equal playing time on and on and off.
Yep.
But I would rather, if someone wants to argue about the excuse, I'll say, okay, well, you sit on the bench. I'll come to you in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll have a conversation about it. We'll get that excuse out of the way.
Wise words.
Yes, sir.
Wise words. I love it. Man of my own coaching strategy there. I like it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
So, what do you think?
Awesome.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I'm very impressed, dude. I feel this is the next Joe Rogan.
I don't know about all that.
Kind of Jamie
Cecil
vibes when I
County
was
Joe
pulling
Rogan.
stuff up.
You keep saying, who is this guy?
You don't know Jamie?
You don't
I don't
know young
watch Joe
Jamie?
Rogan.
He's like
sorry.
he's basically like me, but for Joe Rogan.
Oh,
And
he's
like he does all the tech stuff, and then he's like the Google master. So
Hey,
like,
Jamie, pull that up.
yeah. Like anytime
And
I need
it's
something
same
looked up.
telepathic understanding. Like it's good. It's good.
I put all my effort into this podcast. I don't watch anybody else's. Besides Pat McAfee, I watch that, but I don't even know if I can consider that a podcast anymore. So
That's just talk show.
yeah, true. But hey, well, that was really fun to learn a little bit about soccer.
Yeah, dude,
that was cool.
This is right up my alley. I love
I was going to
this.
say, you loved it. Yeah. We've had all the other sports that Shane knows nothing about. And I forced him through a couple of football episodes and other ones and
Track and field.
track and field.
Yeah. I like the football ones.
Football's pretty technical though, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's like I'm watching. I'm like, dude, like that's technical right there.
There's a lot going on at one time. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, just real quick about football. Like, I don't know how you guys remember plays, like the playbook stuff. Like, I look at a play and I'm like, what the?
You start with telling a high school kid, know your job. And then as you get the experience, you should know what all the other 10 people are doing too. So you understand the idea of the play. That's where we talk about watching football comes into play. But if you can get the one kid to learn their job first, at least that's 1 out of 11 doing what they're supposed to. So if you don't know your job, then that's 10 out of 11, and you probably shouldn't be on the field. So right on the playbook, it says if you do not know your plays, all caps, you will not play.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty standard American sport thing. As I remember being in the back of the class in college for basketball, trying to just learn the plays. I wasn't very good at that because soccer, you have a philosophy, a way of it, but it's not set, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah, in soccer, it's like I don't even know why I need to be conditioned. You just stand around the whole time.
Yeah, man.
No, I'm just joking.
Just a bunch of foot fairies out there.
I'm just joking. Oh, all right. Well, let's close her out.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Once again, if you enjoyed what you heard, go ahead and get us to 1,000 listens on Spotify because this episode should get us there. We're going to be there soon, and get us to 100 subscribers on YouTube.
That would be huge, man.
Yeah, click that button. Watch those videos, and we are now 12 episodes in.
Yeah, something like that.
12 episodes in. Well, we got 2 that haven't aired yet, but we have recorded 12. And going back to that competition question, we have not heard the same answer
Yeah.
yet.
Yep.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
It's got to be one of the best questions because everybody, like, as soon as they hear it, if, like, you didn't hear it for the first, like, normally I send the questions out if I didn't make the questions, last minute. Like, they have a prepared answer, but it's great when they don't hear it. And they're like, oh, yeah, like, what does competition mean to me? And then it's like, boom, the first thing that came in your head. And that's what we want that question to be. So I love it. All right, well, got any final words for the people?
No, thank you for having me. Come play soccer.
Yeah.
Come play soccer.
Yeah, Cecil Soccer, you know where to hear, you know where to find them. What's the website again?
CecilSoccer.org.
CecilSoccer.org. Sign up, grow the sport.
Yes.
All right, guys. Catch you on the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Yep. Later.